This is a video that was uploaded to YouTube by the YouTube user 015SP called Fishmans Band Frontline.
明けましておめでとうございます。
This video was uploaded about 6 months ago, specifically on March 9th, 2024. It is a television clip from a, I'm going to pretend now, unknown date that was uploaded to this guy's channel in admittedly not the best quality. You can see that he, for some reason, decided to leave his television menu open while recording this, as well as arbitrarily cropping in the footage, so we don't get the whole picture, do we? There's no top, there's no bottom, and we only really get the center of the image, and what we're getting is being mostly obscured by the text here. This is a half an hour long concert video of the band Fishmans performing live. Now, at first I had no idea what date this was performed on, and I endeavored to learn what day it was. You're going to have to excuse my difficult to read Chrome top here. It's a work in progress. Regardless, what we have here is a half an hour long concert footage, and we ought to be able to date it, because we can't, tell people, oh, what concert was this, until we have a specific date, except for just being able to call it band Frontline, whatever that is, right? So, I left a fairly frustrated comment underneath it, saying, wonderful video, wish there was a little less text on the screen, which got a couple of likes, but no response. The guy has also published other videos like this. For example, a long time ago, he used to publish, I believe this is a song from, I can't remember what band, but he published a few of these, as well as miscellaneous videos from a yoga company or session or somebody. But he published this and another video of Fishmans, also embarrassingly cropped, but this time without text on the screen, thankfully enough. Although, infuriatingly, this one's only 6 minutes, while the one that's longer is of much lower quality because of the presence of the text here. But what we're looking at here is a concert from quote-unquote band Frontline. Now, what is that? We can probably learn more from the intro, which calls it Indies Club. And this says band Frontline in Japanese. So I did a lot of Googling about what this was, so that I could start to get a handle of a date on it. And there is very, very, very little information on this channel, on this program. Very little. No idea of what program it aired on, no idea where. We just know that it's Indies Club band Frontline, and we let it roll a little further, and it just says Fishmans. Or I actually don't know if it says Fishmans here. It's a dude running around the world, and that's essentially what that is. Later on we get a Fishmans bumper, can't remember exactly where, yes, over here with the fish. But regardless of where that is, what we have here is a band Frontline broadcast of some form called Indies Club. Now, I did a lot of Googling. There are very little sources on this. The only source I was able to find was on a band called, Mein Kampf, which is a thrash metal band. Withholding judgment, we scroll down and eventually find that this band once appeared on a program in 1990 called Indies Club Band Frontline. And this is genuinely one of the only leads on this particular program. If you asked me to provide any idea of what this is beyond this upload, I would have no idea what to tell you. But this is what we know, is that this was from 1990. No specific date mentioned, but we know that the program existed in 1990, right? We can probably assume as well that it probably continued to exist, but given the lack of notoriety, it likely didn't last very long. So we can propose that this likely existed for 1 to 3 years. and we can use 1990 as a benchmark. This fits into the general video timeline that's here. What we have here is mostly a video that was recorded, and you can tell it's from 1990 just based on the track listing, right? So I have that here. This page that I created has the songs that appear in the set list, right? And if you read this, you'll be spoiled for what date it is, but I'll get there. What we have here is a set list of 5 songs. Inago ga tonderu, there's no way. Anoko ga namuteru, I don't know why I blank on some of these things. Piano, Special Night, and Hikoki. So, you have these 5 songs, and all of them are from their first album and their first EP, right? And their first EP came out in November 1991, but this song has been performed since late 1990, right? So, this still fits. And all of those other songs fit as well. You'll see that, you know, certain songs like Hikoki was being performed, again, all the way back in early 1990. Special Night is a particularly old one. You'll see performances from all the way back in 1987. But what we have here is the set list. And so when we're looking through the other set lists that we have for Fishmans concerts, we can sort of cross-reference from these and try and tell, you know, what concerts would most rationally carry these things, right? So we can exit from this concert page and see that there are several of these concerts in this area, and you can see that it's a little difficult to narrow it down, right? There's quite a lot of concerts, and it's possible that there are some of these that have this track listing, or more or less, and you can probably tell that those would also be fair qualifiers, but we're going to go into why it's specifically this date. But, so what we had to do first is figure out if there's any identifying marks in the video, what we have of it, and we can see if there is anything that can identify the exact part of 1990. Now, the first thing that I latched onto was not even part of this video, it was what's at the end. So we can watch the very end and see what I saw. Right, so that is a Laux logo play, right? And it's a different video. The text disappears for this Laux commercial, right? So we open this. This is not the same commercial, but we can get into it and we can see the same bumper. And there's several of these that are the exact same. So, this is mostly a red herring, and the reason that I say that is that those 3 different trailers are being dated to different times, so I have no idea, so this ended up being a red herring, not related at all to what we're trying to do here. Something that I noticed that became far more important, however, in dating this, unexpectedly, was the presence of a band member. In this case, if we can find him in the scrolling list, here we are. In this case, Hakase is in this performance. He is the keyboardist of the band, and he's here. So, him being in this video is really important, because he joined the band in 1990. In fact, he joined the band on October 28th, 1990, so that's in the very latter half of the year, which cuts a lot of these out of being possible. So, Hakase would officially join the band after this concert, so November onward, so that gives us a span of 8 concerts. It could be in 1991, the only one, though, that I would consider possible is this March concert, since this is sort of bordering on that, and to a point where you'll understand my reasoning of where I get these set lists. So all of these that are in italics do not have any available songs. We don't know what songs were performed on that date, we only know that they performed. That's because from this book, Fishman's Chronicle, a 1988 it's written by Daio Nojima, or rather compiled by, But if we go into this listing here, we can see that they have concerts from, 1992, 1991. A lot of those 1991 concerts are simply there. They're simply stated, right? Like this date on August 21st, this date on August 22nd, this date on August 17th, right? A lot of these dates genuinely just do not have connected set lists, right? And while this one does, but most of them do not, right? So we can probably assume that a lot of these were very well documented, while the ones in 1991 were not. So we can assume that if any of those set lists don't line up, that we can essentially immediately throw them out. So this is a big set list. However, it does not include, for example, does it include all of the tracks that we're looking for? I'm actually, hang on, sorry. This is partly off the cuff. So it does include all of those tracks, but it wouldn't make sense to cut so much of the concert. Plus, Shibuya Club Quattro, we can rule out because of that specific venue looking like this. So a lot of that venue is very comparable to this one. But the one thing that does not stick out is the lack of... So you can see where the cameraman's standing here. He could not stand here if he was at Shibuya Club Quattro, because Shibuya Club Quattro famously has a gigantic support beam in the center left of stage. Right before stage, right where the concert attendees would stand. I would hate to get caught behind it. But... So that's that specific support beam and that venue, so it cannot be this concert. And it wouldn't... You can compare these venues a little more closely, and you can see that there's not really any correlation between the lighting systems, but that's beyond the scope of this. Further, we can go into, like, other venues, like Club Sita Kawasaki, but I'll spoil it for you and say that that one doesn't really correlate either. For example, La Mama, we can find a different video as we're comparing different venues. We can find a different image of Fishmans performing at La Mama. This is a image from the Fishmans movie, and we can see these vertical lines of spotlights that are on the sides, as well as these drapes. The ceiling's a lot higher. And that's not what we see here. We see a very tight ceiling. We don't see those vertical strips of lights on the sides. So you're never gonna see that in this video. You're never gonna see those vertical strips of light on the sides of the venue. You're never gonna see those drapes in the back. And the ceiling is much more closed in. So it's not La Mama either. So that rules out a lot of these other concerts that are in later 1990. So, the more you go down this line of confirming, Kichijoji Bao Theater is a literal movie theater. It's a cinema and live venue, so it can't be there. And so that venue's there, and then... So there's a lot of different venues that this could be, but it narrows down mostly to Ishikawa Club Geo and other venues like that, but it mostly makes sense to say that it's Ishikawa Club Geo, and we can compare that with this video. We can see that in the background, there's a lot of these lights that are up at about waist height, right, that are aimed upwards. We can see similar stuff in this video from 1993 that's confirmed to be at Ishikawa Club Geo. We can see a lot of those similar lights at that same waist height that are aimed upwards, and we can see that same lowered ceiling, right? We're seeing that same lowered ceiling. So we can probably confirm without a shadow of a doubt that this is Ishikawa Club Geo, and to seal the deal, we can actually click it and see that this set list almost entirely contains those songs that were included on Indies Club, the only exceptions being He's Running and Happy Man, both of these tracks being non-album tracks, so they never recorded these and released these in studio. So it makes sense that they wouldn't release them on this recording, if only because they're trying to advertise their new album, right? That's going to come out the next year. So we can pretty verifiably say that this concert was performed on November 18th, 1990, based on this data. And we can mostly just put that rumor to rest. We can put that question to rest. We can say, okay, we know for a fact that this was performed on November 18th, 1990 at Ishikawa Club Geo, and it must have been a nice night because the music's great too. The video unfortunately is not, but that's just what we deal with. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm probably gonna make more videos like this about Fishmans in the future. Alright, bye-bye.